Aussies are going wild for a new $18 Coles favourite. The supermarket can't keep up with demand for a new favourite that shoppers have declared is worth the hype.
What is it?
It's an antiperspirant deodorant.
Oh, what brand?
Gem. Yeah, the owner of the brand, Georgia Jaminder, I guess that's why it's called Gem,
yeah.
has said that they are selling one every 2 seconds. Which I don't think is... Every 2 seconds. How many seconds are there in a day?
I don't know how many seconds are in a day.
All right, so there's 60 in a minute.
60 minutes in an hour.
So 60 times 60, so there's 3,600 seconds in an hour, times 24, so that's 86,000, divided by 2. They're selling 43,000 a day, so that means in a week they'll sell 300,000, which means in a month they'll sell roughly 1 million.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know. In terms of like a product in a supermarket, is that good or bad?
1 million in a month for a deodorant. Let's say it's meant to last a month. It means like 1 in every 25 Australians is buying one of these a month. I don't think that's true or possible. But
yeah.
Anyway,
I imagine if this is true, it's certainly not going to be something that like remains like that. Surely people will just like fall off of it eventually, as people often do.
One TikToker says that it's worth the hype. Ooh, yes, I'm using the vanilla sugar deodorant at the moment, and it's epic.
They didn't say epic.
That's what's quoted.
Oh, no. I don't want that slang to come back.
I don't think it's come back. I think if you're posting about skincare on TikTok, you're like 43.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But then but then you've got all the kids who are into like,
No, they're all off TikTok now because they got banned.
Yeah, except for the ban not work. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I mean, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. I mean, let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it. Because in the meantime...
Hey, Karen.
Hey, Yanni.
We're back, everyone. What a low energy intro I just gave. We're back.
Well, I mean, fuck y'all. It's Sunday morning.
It's Sunday morning, and we are here to record another wonderful episode of Shouldn'ta, your favorite podcast about bad Australians.
There it is.
On the 7th of April this year, one of the worst Australians ever, Ben Roberts-Smith, was arrested.
Boo! Hiss! Boo!
I mean, honestly, though, like, what a... And we're going to learn today. But he was arrested at Sydney Airport. Ben is a noted murderer, philanderer, and general piece of shit, so it's fitting that he's the most decorated Australian soldier, as we've been incessantly hearing since his arrest.
Yeah.
He's got so many bits of tinsel and baubles on him that he can't run away from the police anymore. He's too weighed down by all of these angel stars on his head.
And that's I think that's really beautiful to show that, like, and also, you know what? Retract that. It's not beautiful. It's so on the nose.
Yeah.
It's so on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, the writers have, like, really fucked this one up.
The writers, in one of the books I read, and jumping ahead a little bit, in the preface, they're like, if you had told William Shakespeare the story of Ben Roberts-Smith, he would have called it kind of on the nose. Because it sucks. The guy sucks. And his family were present at his arrest, and I hope one day they can feel the shame they deserve to. Because that's the first part of healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's Ben, for some reason, his face has been blurred out, as though he's not the only soldier whose face people know.
Yeah, and also, like, just look at him.
He's huge.
He's huge, but also, like, the way he carries himself and shit, it's just like, oh, yeah, this is somebody who just, like, likes violence.
Yeah, and, we'll come back to that.
Compared to, like, the cop next to him, which is crazy. He looks more violent than the cop.
The cop looks more like a normal guy.
Yeah,
than Ben Roberts-Smith. And the cops are getting some heat from the right-wing folks, the regular villains of Australia, who are...
being like, how could you arrest our boy?
Well, we've got a classic Turturer's row of stupid assholes coming out to defend Benny Boy. Yeah. Obviously, including Gina Reinhardt, Pauline Hanson, John Howard, and Tony Abbott.
Who's who of dipshits.
Who's who of dipshits. The most lobotomized take that I saw comes from former New South Wales politician David Elliott on his fucking LinkedIn. Karen, if you can just read this one from David Elliott out.
I'd love to. After spending many years compiling a case against Corporal Ben Robert Smith VC, the Australian Federal Police have chosen to arrest and charge him 2 weeks prior to Anzac Day. Is this timing appropriate for the veteran community, considering the lengthy investigation period? How insensitive.
2 weeks. Just 2 weeks before
Just
Anzac
mere
Day.
weeks before Anzac Day.
Is the implication here being what? Veterans are like, oh, it's April. I'm getting so excited. They got a fucking advent calendar for Anzac Day. You get a little bullet in each one.
How dare you? This is Anzac History Month.
This is
Anzac Lives Matter.
Anzac season.
You know, it's the silly season. Anzac season.
So David, this cocksucker, is also known for road raging at a 17-year-old, supporting the strip searching of young girls, and being the second politician to go on holiday during the Black Summer bushfires, 1 week after ScoMo did it.
You know, I don't hold a hose, mate.
That's really funny. That's really funny. Like, look, being a piece of shit is one thing.
It is one thing.
Kind of embarrassing to be the second one to do it, though.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, you're not even going to be a trendsetter about it.
And, like, the trend was set by the Prime Minister.
You know?
It's like, you didn't see all of that when it happened?
And go like, right, well, probably not, because he's like, well, I want to go on my holiday.
He wants to go to Europe.
I have to go on my holiday. It's not fair. I work probably 3 months a year. I have to have my holiday. It's
Yeah.
not fair.
He's yelling at, like, a 17-year-old.
Exactly. Now, get naked.
He's also been investigated by the police about his use of highly restricted firearms. So, like, let's fucking go, David. Bring some of them here. We can take our 20 paces. I've never fired a gun before, but I think God would steady my aim at that moment. Just
You
like,
know-
someone's got to deal with this.
Someone's got to be doing this shit.
On the topic of God, David recently came out against the Pope for being anti-war.
Wow.
He said the Pope's comments were offensive to Catholic soldiers.
Ignited my inner soldier.
Yeah, he's like I think he was just in the reserve. I don't give a shit. This fucking guy sucks. Probably the worst David Elliott there's ever been.
I actually love fundamentalist Christians.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to be like such a unique form of brain damage to make any of this make sense to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's always, you look at, like, having been raised, like, in Christianity or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, it's so interesting to see how people can, like, warp whatever they need to
Yeah.
fit whatever purpose. Motherfucker, you took issue with the Pope? He's meant to be, like, God's homie on earth. Like, you can't take issue with the Pope.
The strip search guy. The guy who's like, if my daughter's committed a crime, I'd want them strip searched. It's
Yeah,
like, no,
I want them to fucking strip her naked, and I want them to check all of her nooks and crannies.
And he's like, yeah, you know what? I should come out against the Pope.
You know who's really been pissing me off lately? The Pope.
I mean, he's a woke Pope, you know? They've had 2 woke Popes in a row.
You know, and that makes me sick.
It's been
sick to my fucking stomach.
It's been a pretty good couple of years for Catholics, I gotta say.
Yeah, look, hey, let's go Catholics.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, so God came down on Earth to tell me, hey, you got to do an episode about Ben Robert Smith. So he was formally arrested for war crimes charges. That's what happened in April. But I don't give a fuck about that because Australia's presence in any military engagement is a crime against humanity by default. Not to be too much of a fucking Quaker about it, but the idea that war crime is a meaningful accusation relinquishes ground to these cretins because that implies, like, good war and bad war, you know?
Absolutely. It's like, well, if you can do a war crime, then you can also do, like, just like a war legal.
Yeah, what's the
What's the opposite of a crime?
Act of legal goodness?
Yeah.
We need a word for that.
Yeah.
The
Hey,
opposite
what's
of a crime.
Yeah, what's the opposite of... What is the opposite of a... I
Yeah,
feel
sound off in the
insane
comments.
now. Hey,
I don't
what's the
think
opposite
there's
of...
I don't think there's a word. Like,
Yeah.
just positive act.
Or if you guys have a word for what you would call the opposite of a crime, let us know.
Yeah. But, you know, when you're a white man in a brown land holding a gun, you are a crime.
Yes.
We know this from a moral perspective. And honestly, when it comes down to it, I wish the Taliban had killed all those fucking boys and stopped us from having to deal with the problem back here. Which means that
shit happens.
our allies this episode so far are Catholics and the Taliban.
Perfect.
It's a great fucking news.
Strange bedfellows.
Look at this dumb cunt.
Damn, with his little hat.
It's a dumb hat.
Yeah, it is a dumb hat.
In a just world, Ben's toes would be ground into a fine paste, mixed with arsenic and poured down his gouged eye sockets. But we don't live in a just world, we just live in this world. And in this world, Ben has a surprising amount of defenders and celebrators. Aside from his military honors, his murderous attitude and repugnant behavior led to many doors being opened for him before his cell door slammed shut. So today, we're going to run through all the shit that he's done, just so we're across it. You know?
Perfect.
This isn't an investigatory episode. I just read a couple of books for this one. I just figured we should... I just want to know what happened. Just whenever I run into a Facebook commenter in the street, I just want to be able to hit him with the facts. And then a brick.
Classics.
So during a time when men of Ben's caliber are dogging their hogs at the prospect of slitting the throats of infidels, I figured we should, get to know one of our national heroes. Because this is our country, the place that shaped our identities, the land that I owe everything about myself to. And so if I have to deal with this self-loathing, the least I can do is wish the most ill on this kind of scum.
Absolutely. Share it around.
Exactly.
Share the love.
And the demons, these demons who curse the very earth I stand on are everywhere. They're our neighbors. They're the people who yell at bartenders, I guess. They're around, There's a bunch of people who are excited to kill a brown guy.
Oh, absolutely. And, we also know there are a lot of people in the neighborhood who are just, excited to scream at brown people in general.
Yes, and also a Raytheon building.
Yeah, and also the Raytheon building, which,
I catch a bus with a guy who works at Hermes, not the bag company, but the drone company.
Oh, wow. So not Hermes, but Hermes.
Hermes drones. This is Ben's lawyer for this case, Jordan. I wish I could give him my hemorrhoids.
I wish you could as well. I wish you could give him, I wish I could give him mouth hemorrhoids.
Yeah, I tried to find any other high-profile cases he took on. I guess it seems like he represented the North Shore rapist, so...
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I didn't know about the North Shore rapist.
The North Shore rapist?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The North Shore rapist.
Damn,
as if there's just one.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to be doing, big rapes on the North Shore to be, being called the North Shore rapist. Damn.
So, Ben. Ben was born on the 1st of November 1978, which makes him a Scorpio Earth horse. This combination of signs is known for its bitch-assness and bloodlust. Mm-hmm. His father, and I'm not lying here, Ben's father is named Len Robert Smith.
Len?
Yeah, Len, like Leonard. But like Len Robert Smith.
Lenjamin Robert Smith.
Yeah, and Bernard Robert Smith.
And Bernard Robert Smith. What the fuck?
Len was the chief crown prosecutor of the Australian colonial government of Papua New Guinea, prior to a long career as a Queen's Counsel in Australia.
Well,
yeah.
Probably end the episode there. That explains a lot, doesn't it?
Oh, well, I mean, we haven't met his mum's family yet.
Oh, good. Go on, then.
Because it's in Papua New Guinea that Len met his wife, Sue, whose father was a Kiap.
Of course.
If you didn't listen to our Papua New Guinea episodes, the Kiaps were Australians who worked as police during the Australian colonial regime of Papua New Guinea. So, the lowest of the low, unskilled and immoral subjugators who enjoyed total control over the native population of that land.
Absolutely, yes. Who had, completely, free reign to just, beat the shit out of whoever they wanted.
The Papua New Guinea Australian Association described Ben's grandfather as the sheriff of Papua New Guinea.
That's bad.
Apparently, in his unpublished biography, a soldier who didn't like him said that he is... I think I actually need to send you this because I can't do the Cockney voice.
All right, I'm excited.
So this is a guy from the quote-unquote Indian army, which, he's not Indian. They called him Raja, but he's a British guy. And he said that... What did I say this cunt's name was? I haven't written it down. He said that Ben's grandfather was...
the type of silly-looking bastard that would wear pyjamas on the first night of his honeymoon.
What a hero.
Wow.
So these are his parents. Sue Robert Smith, aside from sending letters to all the newspapers that make fun of her son, she also once sued the principal of a school for disparaging her in comments that guy made to his wife. And the court was spousal privilege means you can't accuse someone of defamation for what they say to their partner.
Yeah. You can't do that. Are you stupid?
What are you talking about? So this is a family of people who sue for defamation.
Yeah, this is a bunch of awful people who are really sensitive about people knowing how awful they are.
Exactly.
Grow up.
Before we go further on Ben, I should mention that he's not even the least redeemable of his siblings.
Oh, great!
His brother, Sam Robert Smith, is one of Australia's most celebrated opera singers.
Wow.
Fuck opera. Which
Damn.
does mean we have to add Timothy Chalamet to our list of allies.
Yeah, it does, unfortunately.
I'm out here with the Pope, al-Baghdadi, and Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, and we're all
Come
just
on,
like,
man.
hey, this is the real cabal.
This is the team. This is a real cabal. This is a Kamal cabal. Things are not going well for us. So, Ben was born in Perth, and his father wanted him to be in the army for his entire life. He's like, my father's a stern patriarch, and he sees me not just in the army, but an officer, which is how the rich kids get to bully the poor kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
An unfortunate dumb fuck known for having no friends, he failed out of an elite school his father sent him to, went to a different one. He's a big man. He's about 6'7", and he has a Crusader cross tattooed to his chest, a noted white supremacist and Christian nationalist symbol.
Gross as hell.
Upon seeing this photo, George Negus got in trouble for calling him a dud root.
God damn it.
Shout out George Negus.
Okay.
Finally, we got someone good on the Allies.
I was going to say, all right, so this gives us the Catholics, the Taliban, Timothy Chalamet, and George Negus.
And George Negus, a guy whose last name you got to be careful when you say.
Yes.
As per the biography Crossing the Line, Ben made full use of his gigantic frame as a teenager. From the book.
In the schoolyard, Robert Smith developed a reputation for standing over those who were smaller than him, which by his later high school years left an entire student cohort to intimidate. Those on the receiving end tell of an outsider who appeared to use his size to feel in control. The infantry.
I think it's infantry.
It's infantry.
Yeah. Like you're in a
Infantry.
fentry.
You're an infantry.
You're infanty.
An infanty. The infantry battalion Robert Smith was assigned to after basic training was a place where bullying was rife. The 18-year-old thrived in this environment. Other soldiers recount how Robert Smith's specialty was hazing new recruits. A former infantry recruit would tell journalists of being king-hit by Robert Smith on his first night at the 3RAR base in Townsville as part of a twisted initiation regime.
So he's just like a big piece of shit.
Yeah, he sounds like a big piece of shit.
The book goes on to describe him as, quote, a big man somehow inflicted with little man syndrome.
Yeah, honestly, that's insane.
Yeah, fucking Anthony Davis ass. No, I don't mean that. Listen, Ben Robert
Anthony
Smith,
Davis is going to listen to this and be real hurt that you compared him to Ben Robert Smith.
he's going to sue me for defamation, and fair enough. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even think that highly of Anthony Davis, but he's 1,000 times the man Ben Robert Smith is.
Absolutely.
Which is ridiculous.
I feel like
It's
almost
Anthony
anyone
Davis.
is.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. I'm going to be quoting liberally from that book I mentioned, Crossing the Line.
Yeah.
A book that almost ended the careers of the people involved in writing it because, yeah, the extremely well-sourced research is sickening to read and led to the defamation suit. Everything about this guy, Ben Robert Smith, is emblematic of the Australian attitude to masculinity. He's a racist, a bad father, a raging alcoholic, and a stupid, incoherent, castratable white man with all the redeeming qualities of a violent pedophile. Or
That
the
sounds-
North Shore rapist.
Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly.
So Ben joins the army, right, as a 21-year-old or whatever. His first time overseas was in Malaysia with Rifle Company Butterworth. It's just what it's called.
Butterworth?
It's named after a guy, you know. It's an anti-communist Air Force station in Penang, Malaysia.
Sure.
That has become a jungle warfare training site for Australian soldiers. This was perfect for when he went back into Southeast Asia to be part of Interfat, the Australia-led United Nations peacekeeping force in East Timor.
We love a peacekeeping force.
Yeah, when I visited Timor, I rode around in one of their cars that they left behind because
Yeah.
they sold the cars to people who live in Timor.
Yeah.
I wonder how much blood was on the hands of those previous occupants. Were they the Australians accused of shooting at civilians, participating in torture, and beating prisoners?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Anyway, all this time in the jungle was perfect training to head into Iraq and Afghanistan.
Isn't it always?
The desert. Which is where he was for most of the 2000s. As he'd spent all his time storming around the jungle, he was part of what is known as the Special Forces. The most important thing to know about Australian Special Forces units, or whatever they're called, is that they are profoundly disconnected from the rest of the army. I read another amazing book by Samantha Krumpvowitz? Sorry, Sam, but it's called Bloodlust, Trust and Blame. It was a pretty sober look about how this can lead to all manner of abuse by Australian soldiers. Samantha's work was crucial in the lead up to the Brereton Report, with plenty of Special Forces veterans agreeing to speak to her.
Yeah, I mean, from the sounds of it, if they're completely separated from, the rest of the military as a
Yeah.
whole, then obviously they will just have kind of if there's no oversight,
Yeah.
there's free reign. And that's really bad in a violent and, like, you know, power hierarchical dominated, like, group.
If you've ever seen a rugby team after they've won a championship on the town, just imagine if they all had rifles.
Yeah, bad. Very bad.
See, because on paper, as we talked about in the Iraq War episode, the involvement that Australian soldiers was meant to have in Iraq and Afghanistan was meant to be fairly minimal, low risk, and largely administrative. However, special forces units are like really small and isolated. We're talking like 6 dudes from Perth. Running around in the fucking hill countries answerable to nobody. Well, they are answerable to random militia leaders in Afghanistan trying to cement the brutality of their wartime rule. From ABC.
Afghan militia leader Matiullah Khan gave gold watches to Australian Special Forces commanders.
Yeah. Real normal shit.
Yeah, real normal shit.
Just ingratiating yourself with the guys
local militia leaders.
Yeah, local militia leaders.
Come on.
So, in her book, Samantha talks about the friction between cultural problems and individual accountability. And she makes a point that in a vacuum is a very, very, very fair point. That you can't fix individual problems with a cultural solution. Like, if there's soldiers or groups or regiments or whatever that are, as per how the army works, relatively free from scrutiny, then some high-level strategic cultural changes, and she derides them fairly as PowerPoint presentations to board members, aren't going to affect their actions.
No, of course not, because it's like, well, fundamentally, if nothing changes on the ground, then nothing changes on the ground.
Exactly. They're going to roll their eyes and continue rolling tanks over farmers.
Yeah.
But much like any other corporate body, cultural changes sound very good.
Yes.
Especially to the public. And they carry with them the promise of filtering into the bottom.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, soldiers don't get raped anymore, right?
Soldiers have never been raped.
Yeah.
But the misconception that people have of a modern army is that the majors, or whatever the leaders are called, set the tone that is followed down to a company level because they're a tightly disciplined elite squadron of dead shits who couldn't get real jobs. The Special Forces model obviously flies in the face of that. In a report reproduced in the Crossing the Line book, she describes the Special Forces as
unsanctioned and illegal application of violence on operations, disregard for human life and dignity, and the perception of a complete lack of accountability.
And she talked to heaps of people.
Damn.
Like, a lot of them, obviously, most of them stayed off the record. Except for, like, Andrew Hasty, who we'll come back to.
I imagine a lot of guys were probably like, look, I have some shit to say, but for the sake of my life and, like, my happiness and the relationships I have, I can't, like, just go saying that I said it.
Yeah. But just, like, I think her report was where we learned about the Australian soldiers slit the throats of Afghan teenagers.
Yay.
But all that being said about the individual accountability versus cultural change thing, there's something that Samantha either doesn't believe or can't say. That it is perhaps impossible for a group of armed men to behave appropriately while away from home.
Yeah.
That if those armed men are white and they are in a brown land, their prerogative is to inflict pain and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
That whoever is psychotic enough to get through the brutal period of training and hazing is going to, as per evolutionary theory, be selected for acquiescence with that style of bloodlust. There isn't a good army for the same reason that war crimes are a pointless description of overseas intervention.
Yeah.
The qualities that qualify you for soldiering are, well, we can actually go to a junior officer quoted in Crossing the Line.
Oh, okay. The officer believed that the problem had begun during the SAS selection, with men chosen in a process that favoured lung capacity over mental resilience. They are selecting fuckwits, he seems to be quoted saying.
Yeah.
To illustrate his point, he recalled a patrol commander who had deployed despite being arrested by police for domestic violence and who carried a homemade war hatchet with him in Afghanistan. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, he's perfect for the job.
Yeah.
He's clearly a psycho.
Yeah.
He's got his own hatchet.
You know, there's like a distinction that I know exists between like the type of person that becomes a soldier and the type of person that becomes a cop. But it's so narrow. And I think a cop is just more of a coward, or perhaps just is more of a homebody. I think perhaps soldiers want to get out there, you know? Like, whereas cops want to, like, be where they are.
Yeah.
They're lazy, perhaps, is the answer. But there's, like, a certain type of fucked in the head you have to have, which is basically, like, you want to be a part of a gang that runs very little risk to coming undone.
Exactly.
You know? it's you want to be able to be in a group of like people that are going to, by the nature of the group and the job and the employment, have to have your back in circumstances. You do have to form some sort of weird like gang mentality.
Yeah.
And you can kind of fuck around and do whatever.
Yeah.
I do think it is just a lot of people who don't grow up
Yes.
go into these professions because you just with the boys, you know. You
just get to be with the boys.
You just get to dick around with the boys.
You get to dick around with the boys.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. And like, I guess we'd contrast soldiers who are being deployed overseas to like a country that is being invaded having an army, right?
Yeah.
Because that's different to cops and different to Australian soldiers. That's like defense.
Yeah.
Whereas like Australian soldiers, I don't think have ever done anything in Australia
No, I don't
Not-
think so.
since what, the Battle of Darwin or whatever.
You know?
Except the time they had to fight American soldiers in Brisbane, right?
Yeah. you know that.
Yeah.
That?
It's like, oh, hey, that sure sounds like how gangs work. They just fight each other all the time.
Yeah. Arguing over like what, alcohol and women or whatever it was.
Exactly.
It's just like, come on.
Come on, man. And the bit that breaks my brain is that, as we've kind of said, this is obviously the case.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way it wouldn't be. But we live in the land of the truth. I've only ever really met one person who's, like, proud of the armed forces in our regular life. And we almost got a fight at a birthday party. Ridiculous. Bad behavior by me. This is like a marketing professional. I had no reason to actually engage with this guy. He's like, oh, you don't know anything. You've made it your business to know nothing.
Fair.
We did play 8-a-side cricket against Ad for Nerds a couple of times, but it's whatever. They were
Fuck 'em
weird.
up.
So there was two teams, right? And like Division 1
right,
team
yeah.
was really fit. Division 2 team was, I guess, the tech support officers.
Yeah, or reservists or whatever.
But yeah, for whatever reason, there are people who still hold fast to the idea that these psychos are keeping us safe. The whatever reason is white supremacy.
Yeah, and I also think this falls into perhaps a deeper understanding that a lot of people probably have but aren't going to voice because you can wave it away with so many other
Yeah.
reasons as to why these guys have to be in this job.
Yeah.
But one very good reason is stops them from doing that shit here, really.
Yes.
As much as you possibly can.
Yes.
You can mitigate it and be like, okay, well, there is a violent subculture in this country of young men, predominantly young white men, who just want to go out and fucking kill people
Yeah.
and hurt people and exert dominance over another population. It is so much better for us to pay them to do that somewhere else than for them to do it here for free.
Exactly. If they can't play rugby league,
Yeah.
then they're not good for anything here. We send them away. They do this shit over there till they're 35. They come back. If they come back, they're old and broken and a wreck. And it's
Yeah.
harm minimization.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they probably, given how, like, you know, the treatment of also, like, of veterans here and stuff as well, it's like, yeah, they'll probably also kill themselves.
Yeah.
Or just be, like, so fucked in the head
Yeah.
from doing fuck shit for, like, 20 years.
And the cost is they're, likely to beat their partners.
Yeah,
But also, these people have a deep-throated desire for blood to burst from brown bodies.
absolutely.
They've been brainwashed into think like somebody who is 21 right now was born in 2006.
No.
So they probably grew up with Howard's terrorism magnet on their fridge.
Yeah, they're
You
probably
know.
like, yeah, Muslim, evil,
Yeah.
and there's never been a reality where that's not
Sure.
the public belief.
Exactly. That's not something that's acceptable to say. Kieran, I'm going to show you a picture of 3 Australian tanks in Afghanistan in 2007. Ben's in
good.
the country. He's probably not with these guys. This picture came out in 2018 and did cause quite a stir. It might be difficult to make out, but let me know if anything makes you raise an eyebrow.
Got it. Oh! Well, for starters, these aren't very big vehicles, are they? No, I'm also burying the lead here. There's a massive fucking Nazi flag on one of them.
Yeah,
Like, there's
just like
like
a
a big
swastika flag.
fucking there's a big fucking swastika on one of these vehicles.
On one of the Australian tanks.
Just a big one, just flying like up as if that's. You know, I think the problem is that, how do I say this?
Deaf to America.
These people need to be drowned.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, yeah.
Like, just kind of like in a muddy puddle, you know?
It's funny you say that actually as well. That's going to come up again later.
Great.
But yeah, so I don't know if the soldiers in question got in trouble. They were like, oh,
Of course they probably
it was
did.
only up for a little bit, but
Oh, it was just for fun. It was just for fun, you guys.
it's just for fun. But yeah, like Nazi flags, Christian nationalist imagery, and Ku Klux Klan outfits. Oh, right, the Ku Klux Klan outfits. So there's this cache of USBs that Ben Robert Smith buries in his backyard, which have all the evidence.
That's really innocent behavior.
It has all the evidence of his war crimes on it and shit.
Why is it on a USB?
It's like 10 USBs that he puts in one of his daughter's lunchboxes and then buries in his backyard. His wife, who seems great, like, so she digs it up, gets it saved onto a hard drive, and then buries it again. And then when Ben comes back one day to dig it up, she takes it before and after to be like, he has taken the cache of USBs, but she has all the information, and he doesn't know that she has it. And like,
So what? She's just like she's double agenting this shit. She's just like my piece of shit husband.
yeah,
Like,
we'll get back to her, but she, given a fucking terrible situation, I have a lot of time for Emma, which is her name.
Emma, yeah.
Because this shit is fucked. And everything about him is fucked. And she does a bunch of things that end up being fairly important in the trial.
damn.
But yeah, so he's got all these USBs with all these pictures, right?
You know,
And-
because like any serial killer, he has to take trophies, right? Like
Yeah.
he's got to have like evidence of all the fuck shit he did. Because what if he forgets about it and he can't like jerk off to the amount of blood he spilled?
Because, like, there's a story which she tells is like, yeah, I saw him drilling into one of his laptops to destroy it, setting it on fire, and shit like that. And it's like, why did you
Red flags, red flags,
Why
red
did you
flags.
keep the USBs? And yeah, she did the right thing by like getting all the info and then letting him incriminate himself further, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy. But alongside like pictures of dead bodies with coins in their eyes, do you know about that?
No.
It's like an ancient Greek thing.
Oh yeah, for the river Styx or whatever. you
Yeah,
put the-
yeah.
yeah.
So they'd kill people and put coins in their eyes to be like, so you can pay the
Ferryman, yeah, that's fucked.
And there's also a bunch of photos of boys pretending to suck each other's dicks, which, like, I mean, I would expect nothing less.
I was gonna say I would be surprised if there wasn't that.
But there's also a photo of a guy in a KKK outfit. This comes up in the famous defamation trial, and the person in the sheet was called up to be a witness for Ben Robert Smith. He's known as Person 35. He's referred to in the book as Tim Douglas, but that's a pseudonym. And he speaks with an impunity in court that only an Australian dead shit can.
All right, here we go. Wow, look at that image as well. He has an actual burning cross.
Yeah, like it's on fire.
He,
Inside.
yeah,
A room with a bunch of alcohol in it. Like, for one thing.
For one thing.
That's really unsafe.
full dead shit. But also, he's right next to a guy dressed up as fucking gingerbread man from Shrek, and what I presume beside that is a guy dressed as the Hulk.
Yeah, there's a wider version of this image, and
Buzz Lightyear's in the back. What the fuck is going on?
I mean, you can read his quote.
All right.
I knew one other person who was coming in blackface, so I thought it would be funny if I came as a Klansman. I actually won the fancy dress competition that night.
Fucking dead shit.
He won the fancy dress competition. He's in court. It's
Honestly, I need you to put. I need you to bite down on a brick so I can kick your jaw. Like,
honestly,
come on.
It's great that the only people that came to support Ben are like the dickheads, like the worst dickheads.
The worst ones being like, Ben's pretty good, and anyone with any shred of a conscience is just like, Ben's a cunt.
Ben's a cunt and we
Yeah.
hate him. Yeah. So Afghanistan, right? Ben's there 6 times. And not just because he likes the weather. He's doing sniper shit, mainly, shooting at random teenagers and then being like, he was a Taliban.
Ah, he was evil.
They throw a bunch of guns down before they take the photo that he saves on a USB and buries in his backyard.
Oh my god.
So given the way that special forces work, we basically just have him and his mates' accounts of the situations, right?
Yeah.
So they're replete with like bravery and courage under fire, and he like stormed a machine gun nest and threw back a grenade and all this shit.
Yeah.
I obviously don't think they're true stories. I don't also not believe that he'd run into machine gun fire. He is a big dumb guy.
That's
He's
the
huge.
thing.
He's huge. Like, the reason that it was, when the trial comes along, everyone's just like, yeah, it was the biggest guy. Because otherwise it's like, there's just like 6 Australian soldiers. How are you meant to know it's Ben? But everyone's
Differentiate
like,
them. Everyone's
it's
like, oh, the massive guy?
the really big
The guy
one.
who's
the
like,
huge one.
yeah, half
Yeah.
a foot taller than everybody else?
Exactly.
You mean that guy?
He's fucking
yeah.
6'7". 6'7"?
6'7"?
That's actually where the meme starts. It's Ben
Oh,
Robert Smith.
God.
But, you know, other soldiers have come out to describe these tall tales as dubious as well, being like, that's not what happened. That doesn't sound right. I was there. That didn't work. Anyway.
Yeah.
So he becomes one of 4 Australians to get a Victoria Cross for Afghanistan for being the bravest little boy while killing the Browns. Here's him getting the award featuring Quentin Bryce's stupid fucking hat.
And it is a stupid fucking hat.
So, what was Ben actually doing in Afghanistan? I'm sure you're asking.
I thought we just went over that. Killing brown kids.
Yes, but in what context? It's not all known, right? Because of the culture of secrecy and all of that.
Yeah, because of the SAS stuff is just like shh.
And also no one else is there.
Yeah.
I read the Brereton report, which is I tried to read the Brereton report. The entirety of Section 2 is redacted, and it's just like page after page after page of it. It's been seen by the relevant people, and there's going to be further trials in which whatever. But like what
the
is
publicly
known,
released version that you were able to access is just like got a bunch of shit redacted.
Yeah, just like why even put the pages in? There's just like 12 pages in a row that are just like blacked out.
They're like, hey, there's information here, but you're not allowed to see it.
You can't see it.
We all know the secret, and you're not allowed.
But what is known, proven on the balance of probabilities, is that he kicked an Afghan farmer, Ali Jan, off a cliff and then had him executed as he lay on the ground, teeth having come out of his mouth. When it comes up in the trial, Ben's lawyer, the notoriously shitty Arthur Moses, tried to make the star witness, as it were, seem like he was misremembering things. Here's the exchange. I'll be Arthur Moses and you can be person 4.
Okay.
Is that what he said? I kicked the individual off the cliff?
No, he didn't say that.
What did he say?
I kicked the cunt off the cliff.
Yeah, in the book, the guy's like, everyone cringed. And like, Arthur's trying to set him up to show him as unreliable.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was just trying to be polite.
He's like, I will be honest with you, no, that is not what I said. What he said was, I kicked the cunt off the cliff.
Yeah, like, Arthur Moses...
Just we're in mixed company, so I thought I shouldn't say cunt.
I'm trying to be nice. Yeah, his girlfriend, Gladys Berejiklian, was probably there.
Jesus Christ, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's the guy who dated her. And represents, like, all the worst people.
I just, like... How fucked do you have to be like, yeah, you know, great day at work today, defended Ben Roberts-Smith, really, really nailed that North Shore rapist case. Yeah, no, he got off.
He got off, yeah.
Yeah, no. He can,
and then I got off with Gladys.
He can go and rape again.
He's easier to rape for free.
Real pieces of shit.
No, Arthur Moses...
Never met a lawyer that I really liked. Honestly, I don't think I've ever met a lawyer I liked.
There's, like...
I've met a surprising amount of lawyers.
There's legal aid. That's the thing, right?
And here's the thing: do I appreciate the work that they do? Sure. I also still don't like their personalities.
That's true. I've met a lot.
I think you have to be an argumentative person, and I'm not about it.
Remember when I got in an argument with those lawyers that invited us over for dinner, and we're driving home, and you're like, I don't think you needed to do that.
Yeah, I do remember that. But I also similarly remember just getting wasted and screaming at a bunch of lawyers out on the town at one point for making my friend cry.
Yeah.
And so, you know, hey, bad profession.
Bad profession. Yeah, bad profession. There's some lawyers in this story who are like heroes of the story, I guess.
And I'm sure that's great. I'm saying, personally, I probably think they have shit personalities.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
But during the trial, Ben tries to make the argument that what you're seeing in the picture, the big drop that he kicked an elderly farmer down before having him shot, isn't a cliff.
Oh.
And eventually, like, the lawyer representing the journalists gets him to say, I accept that it is a very, very steep incline.
Damn. So what I should have said was, I kicked the cunt off the very, very, very steep incline.
But that's not a cliff. He's like, I know a cliff when I see one, and that's not a cliff. It's like, shut up!
Mate, I know a cliff when I see one. All right?
His cousin Cliff. There's also the now infamous story of a man with a prosthetic leg. Sorry, a Taliban insurgent who Ben machine-gunned in the side of the head.
Yes.
The placement of his brain matter became a matter for the court. The pictures on the buried USB kind of showed that the guy wasn't where Ben Roberts-Smith said he was, and it showed that he was either running away or kneeling as opposed to approach, whatever, shit like that. But it was part of the undoing of the story he was telling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after taking the leg, soldiers at the, for what it's worth, also illegal bootleg Australian bar would drink out of it. At the trial, another one of Ben's mates described this as a exhibition execution.
Yeah, like, that shit, like, it genuinely makes me sick. Like,
Yeah.
I remember when that story broke, I, like, was genuinely in shock at the fact that anybody would be that callous. I think that was like a real eye-opening moment for me.
Yeah.
Like, in general, I was just like, oh, damn, I thought only people with, like, more power than this could be so evil. But the mundane reality is that a lot of people are just, like, sick fucking cunts in the worst ways.
Here's what one of the soldiers who saw the execution said. And also, like, in support of Ben.
Yeah. He wanted people to see that he was going to kill someone out there in front of everyone. I still don't agree with the fact that BRS is here, and he's under an extreme amount of duress for killing bad dudes who we went over to kill.
As in court, bad dudes.
They're bad dudes. Guys, here's the thing, and look, I'm not a fancy lawyer or anything, but there are bad dudes and there are good dudes. Now, you can tell whether someone's a bad dude or a good dude by the colour that they are. And when they're really bad, they're actually darker. So you gotta kill them. Does that help the court?
Yeah, I don't understand why this trial's happening. We had to kill those bad dudes.
We had to kill him.
He shot the cunt in the side of the head.
He shot the cunt in the side of the head, and he wasn't using his leg anymore anyway. And we weren't allowed to do shoeies because of the trench foot situation. So, what do you want us to do?
There's too much sand in our boots.
There's too much sand, and then I get sand in my piss. Anyway, doesn't matter.
So, Ben loves killing, in that true Australian fashion. He is quoted as saying about a different murder, "I shot the cunt in the side of the head. I blew his brains out, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." He also says to a guy, "Before I leave here, I'm going to choke a man to death while staring in his eyes."
Jesus fucking Christ.
And he's passed on that spirit to younger soldiers in his command.
Of course.
In a continuation of the grand Australian tradition of bastardizing, which I didn't realize we called it that,
Neither.
but he would enthusiastically blood these fuckwits. To blood a younger soldier is to pick a random Afghan you have as a prisoner and get the kid to kill him.
Yeah, that sounds about fucking right.
To initiate him into it.
Yeah, being like, hey, now you've done some sick fucked up shit too.
Yeah.
So now you're part of this.
To cap it off, he made sure to hit his KPIs. That is, he wanted a certain amount of people killed per mission. He had like a leaderboard.
Jesus Christ.
Kill performance indicators, I guess. Then they tossed some weapons onto the body before taking the photo just to cover their tracks. When the Brereton Report into War Crimes was released in 2020, it found like substantial evidence of at least 39 murders of Afghans by Australian Special Forces units that were covered up by the ADF.
Yeah.
That's what they found.
And that's certainly not going to be everything.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
Ben is a central figure to many of these, but I'm happy to infer that he's not at all unique. But we're not going to know that for a while. So, back to when Ben comes back from Afghanistan. We were informed that he was a national hero, and he was celebrated in all corners of Australian media that we don't watch. His dad, Len, around the same time, was ironically...
Fucking Len.
Len sucks. And he was appointed chair of, when we were talking about the rape, the Defense Abuse Response Task Force. So the military investigating themselves for the rapes. And they found like 1,700 cases or whatever. And it's like, I don't know if... because he's like a Supreme Court judge. I don't know if all this is happening because Len's pulling the strings or if people want to impress Len. But the list of honors and friends that Ben would rack up is kind of stunning. Here's Ben with somebody you might recognize.
It's the Queen. That dead bitch.
So when Ben comes back, the director of the War Memorial is Brendan Nelson, one of the more boring leaders of the Liberal Party during our youth. If you'll recall, I briefly met Brendan Nelson at a function set up by Lifeline Canberra.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, where the guests of honor were Ned and Josh.
Oh, God, yeah.
Two of Australia's more boring comedians.
Incredible stuff.
Brendan tries to get them to date his daughter, and they look uncomfortable by it. But he's just a guy who's impressed by tall men,
Yes.
I found Brendan Nelson's steadfast support of Ben slightly confusing at first, because it's like, this guy, seems like an unstrategic choice.
Yeah.
But given the political context, I think it makes enough sense. Around 2012, when he becomes the chair of the War Memorial or whatever, the popularity of the Australian Army was probably as low as it had ever been. As we spoke about during the Iraq War episode, the average Australian, even one who, supports the troops, as it were, thought that the escapades in the Middle East were a waste of time, money, and lives.
Yeah.
Even if they want every Afghan to be shot in the head, they're like, we don't need, why are we doing this?
It costs a lot of money.
And, people knew that Howard lied, Bush lied, men lie, women lie.
All these politicians born in 1993 only know how to invade the Middle East, eat hot chip and lie.
Yeah. So when Brendan Nelson becomes chair of the War Memorial, he remembers the brave, extremely giant soldier that he had taken on a tour of Flanders Fields. when he was like the NATO representative for Australia or whatever.
Oh my god, so just again, because Ben Roberts is a big bitch.
Yeah.
Everybody's just like, oh yeah, the big guy. Where's the big guy
Where's
at?
the big
Where's
guy?
the big guy?
The big guy. And like, classically handsome. Like in a sense that resonates with Australians. I think that's important to the story. If he was a real oggo, this wouldn't have happened in the same way.
I guess that's fair enough. I guess when I look at him, I think of somebody who, like, I don't know, doesn't have their top teeth and, like, really likes eating, like, ham hocks.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but that's what I see when I look at him.
Just
I'm
chewing
just
them
like,
with his
oh,
bottom teeth.
this guy loves, like, mashing ham against his, like, upper plate or whatever.
He's like, his face is symmetrical, he's got blue eyes, he's tall. He's buff. And
He's got the biggest chin I've ever seen.
massive chin, which sells well with like, older Australians.
Yeah, they're like, what a strong young man.
Exactly.
A strong chin.
So Brendan rather says, as per Crossing the Line, that he saw his job as educating Australians about what had been done in their name recently, as opposed to just the Anzac stuff.
Yeah.
Reading between the lines, he knew that a significant public relations glow-up was necessary, and a blue-eyed Aryan hero is one that could be sold to the Australian public.
Absolutely. He's just one of the boys.
Exactly.
Hometown boy done good.
So he commissions this portrait of Ben painted by Michael Zavros, which is a disgusting piece of mercenary portraiture that can barely be dignified with the title of art. And it's going to be the centerpiece of the war memorial. It's called Pistol Grip. It's a painting. It looks like a photo.
I was going to say, it looks like a photo. The fact that that's a painting kind of makes it worse that that's what you chose to do.
Yeah.
He looks stupid.
Yeah. I don't think also this does justice to how big this fucker is. Here's Ben looking at it.
Jesus Christ.
It's a gigantic picture of... What's he doing in the picture?
Well, he's holding his hands out, clasped together as if he is gripping a pistol, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like,
wouldn't you be... he's like... The artist, has been asked about it since Ben Robert Smith was arrested and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I was commissioned to do a painting, and I did it. It's like, aren't you still ashamed, I guess, that you were in that situation?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
Don't you feel some kind of way about it?
Shouldn't you... what kind of artist are you that you're painting soldiers in 2012 or whatever? Anyway.
The kind that likes money.
That's the thing. He's a 6-time Archibald Prize, finalist.
And we know the Archibald Prize is some, nonsense.
Exactly.
Anyway,
So Brendan could probably see that the idea of the Anzac spirit, a bunch of teenage conscripts running into a suicide mission on behalf of a colonial power 100 years ago, had lost its cultural heft. It didn't have the same emotional resonance as it did when he was a child.
Yeah, because, now, you can... if you really want to jet set and go on an adventure with the boys, you can just go over to Bali and ride some scooters and,
Exactly.
get alcohol poisoning
Yes.
and, beat up locals there.
God forbid, yes. Brendan was also on the board of patrons for the Shepherd Center, which is an organization dedicated to, supporting deaf children. They seem fine, whatever.
Weird
no, it's
side
weird.
quest,
It's a
but-
weird fucking thing.
Okay.
They awarded Ben their coveted Father of the Year trophy in 2013.
Gosh, I hope that held up. I hope that they still think he's Father of the Year.
Other recipients include John Howard, Jimmy Barnes, Dick Smith, and Hamish Blake. And Dr. Carl.
I didn't know Dr. Carl had kids.
Of course he has kids. Look at all the jokes he makes.
Yeah, true.
When asked about, the potential war crimes, Brendan says,
It is my very strong view that alleged controversies involving special forces should be left alone. Where is the national interest in tearing down our heroes?
you can't do this to the Father of the Year.
How could you... He went out there and he killed that fucking Afghan for you and for me.
He's a hero.
So
And for
that
his
we
kids.
and for his kids.
So we can continue our way of life.
So it's just baffling. I don't know. I just think everybody needs some Metamucil in their soul right now so they can have some moral fucking fiber.
Try Metamucil's Daily Multi-Health Fibre. Its 100% natural psyllium fibre traps and removes waste to support gut health and regularity.
Damn, that's fire. The Metamucil pool? That's crazy. Father of the Year was news to Ben's wife, Emma, and all of her friends, who describe him as a frequently shitty husband.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't imagine that a man who loves killing that much and is so happy about it and is notably a piece of shit was very good to his family back home.
Yeah, when she started doing IVF treatment so that he could become a father. He started like calling her fat, being like, it's lucky you have a pretty face. And then he describes her as really fucking stupid and just gives her the silent treatment for a couple of days and is otherwise just in Afghanistan. She has an ectopic pregnancy and he's in Afghanistan for it.
Yeah.
He also cheats on Emma with a lady
No shit.
Well, he goes on to get this lady pregnant and he hits her in the face.
Yeah, no shit. Again.
And then threatens to burn her house down if she talks about it.
There we go.
And then I guess he cheats again with one of his lawyers in the defamation trial.
There we go.
Which, like, what a terrible lawyer. When the news got wind of the affair, he bullies Emma into telling the press that they had been separated during his relationship with this other woman.
Of course.
And says, like, you'll never see your kids again if you don't support me here. For Ben, though, it's win to win before all this. In 2015, Kerry Stokes of 7 West Media promoted him to General Manager of Regional Television in Queensland.
What?
Yeah. At this point, Ben's highest qualification was having barely finished 12th grade. Staff noted that it would have been difficult to find a less qualified person than Ben Robert Smith.
Yeah, no shit. What? He has no experience.
None.
Not even, like, working in something that isn't army.
He did a Gallipoli miniseries.
What, like, presented it?
Yeah.
So?
So he gives no one any reason to dispute the judgment of him being unqualified. He's even like, I don't quite know what I'm doing here. Like, he's on record being like, this is a bit, what am I doing here?
This is a bit much. Yeah, man.
When 7 hires Mel McLaughlin to their sports coverage, and there's a lady who's been, like, the recipient of a bunch of shitty comments from men. You remember Don't Blush, Baby?
Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
So he's quoted as at a team lunch as saying, you know the worst thing? I just don't think she's that good looking.
That is, hey, Ben, that is the worst thing.
You know what, Ben? That is the worst thing.
You were right. Hey, this one time you were right. That's the worst thing.
Chris
I'm
Gale-
sorry she's not attractive enough for you.
Chris Gale, if you want to redeem yourself in the eyes of the Australian public, hit this cunt on the head with a cricket bat.
Honestly.
Okay, cheers, Tom. Don't blush, Tom.
He follows this up at another lunch by being like he's arguing with someone. He's like, listen, mate, I used to get paid to shoot cunts in the head. And it's like, you're a television manager.
Yeah, like you really like you can't be coming back like that.
Yeah.
Like it feels like society is built so that you can't act like that when you come back.
Yeah.
But you're just doing it. You're just
You're
acting
still
like
doing
that
it.
when you come back. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, he
that
gets-
makes you like a massive liability to everyone around you.
Well, everyone's like, don't give Ben drinks because he'll start telling you about how many kills he got in Afghanistan.
How many fucking people he's killed, and it's like fucking crazy. Yeah.
But then,
These fucking like media guys, these slimy fucking people are just like, bruh.
so then there's one of my favorite stories from the book.
Okay, here we go. One morning, Ben decided to do things a little differently. A drumline marching band from an elite Brisbane private school arrived, walked past the giant red 7 statue, and made their way towards the auditorium and waiting staff. The 12 high school boys in red blazers and striped ties then assembled in formation. Staff were exchanging expressions ranging from bemusement to bewilderment. A marketing employee mouthed the words to a colleague, "What the fuck?" Just as the cacophony erupted, a whir of staccato drum beats that continued for an inordinate length of time as stares transformed into eye rolls.
People are like, bro, we're working. We're at work. And there's just a bunch of teenagers being like,
So what, he just got like a marching band to like come to his office?
yes. And he like stands there quietly, like nodding and shit. And it's like, bro, we have jobs that we're doing.
Dude, we have stuff to do. Like, we're doing, not only do we have stuff to do, we also have to do your stuff because you don't fucking know what you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing.
You hired children to come cause a scene.
We were having a meeting and now there's just a snare drum.
Now
doing
there's
a
just like
track, track,
boys
track,
out
track.
there just like smacking shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. Insane. He's a fucking lunatic. So, Kerry Stokes, right, the owner of 7, he's another backer of Ben that kind of confuses me. I think more than Brendan Nelson. Because Brendan Nelson seems like a privileged, befuddled old fool who's overawed by a behemoth of ostensible bravery and strength. He's like, you know, that's what the real men do. Like, he feels insufficient himself. And so
Oh, absolutely. So he's
overawed
like,
by
I
this.
have to be okay with this because that's just how it is.
Kerry Stokes is one of Australia's like richest billionaires, and he grew up in Camp Hell. If you will remember the housing projects left behind by American soldiers in Melbourne after the Second World War. Like,
Yeah.
he's not from a privileged background. And now he has like $13 billion.
Jesus.
So for all his evil, and he is a massive piece of shit, he doesn't strike me as an idiot.
Well, I mean, you have to assume this is at least somebody with life experience.
Yeah, and he's, he invests in a bunch of successful companies. Like, he's not, he doesn't strike me as, like, deficient mentally.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a military background, like, through his family or whatever, but he does collect Victoria Crosses.
What do you mean?
He's got 3 of them from Australian soldiers.
What, like when they die? Or do they just, like, donate them to him?
He buys them at auction. And then he donates them to the War Memorial. Because it's like, well, here's where I'll keep my Victoria Cross collection.
I keep them at the War Memorial?
And when he bankrolls Ben's legal case to the tune of $15 million, Ben puts up his Victoria Cross as collateral.
Yeah. Fuck it, yeah.
It's honestly easiest for me to believe that it's a long game for Kerry to get that Victoria Cross.
He's like, I want the Victoria Cross medal from Ben Roberts-Smith. Well, I mean, that's a get. If you are into collecting Victoria Cross medals,
That's wild.
which it has to just be him who's into that.
No, there's a few. He has the biggest Victoria Cross medal collection in Australia, but there's an English guy with like 100.
Fuck, alright, so he's really... Well, I mean, this is a unique one. I mean, this one's going to be worth a lot.
Yep.
To have Ben Roberts-Smith's Victorian Cross.
Yep.
That's a massive get.
Yeah, like either that or he just wanted to get one over on Fairfax, who are the ones who own the papers that publish the stories about the war crimes. And Kerry Stokes owns 7. And I forget that there's a 3rd massive media company.
You know?
Because I forget that there's 2, because they're all kind of swimming together.
Yeah.
But there's News Corp, Fairfax, and 7.
Yeah.
And it's like they fight sometimes.
Sometimes they fight. They're often working, I imagine, in collaboration because they're like, well, we're the guys. But then they're like,
Yeah, it's probably good news, right? So, I guess it's also like he could just be a dumb patriot, which feels too easy, I guess. Like,
yeah.
It's not that I don't believe he's a racist nationalist, but it's just like Ben seems specifically like a unstrategic donkey to tie your wagon to.
Yeah, I love this picture of him holding, like, the Victoria Cross medals with his cunty little white gloves so he doesn't put his, like, little finger smears on him and
He doesn't
shit.
want to smear the Victoria Cross
That's
medals.
so funny. Look at him, he's just like, look what I've got. And
Look
it's
what
just
I've
like,
got.
yeah, man, you eat that. He's got the same vibe. This collecting feels like the same vibe as someone being like, I want to eat the last dodo egg,
Yes.
Like, it has that same, like, rich people collection style thing in, like, an eccentric, weird way where you're like, oh, this is so unachievable
He's gonna
for anybody else.
He's gonna sew them into his curtains or something. Like,
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
It's so weird.
And he ends up paying because he ends up having to obviously pay for the defendants in the legal case as well when they lose it, right?
Yeah.
So it ends up being $30 million. But
But did he get the cross?
I think he must, right? Because
Yeah.
it was the collateral for the loan or the like line of credit. He opens up to
I
Ben.
hope he got the cross. And this is literally, he doesn't give a shit about the case. He doesn't care about anything. He's like, this is how I get the cross.
Yeah.
That's all I hope he wakes up every day thinking about whose Victoria Cross he's going to try and acquire next.
Honestly.
Like, that's the only thing he can think about.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me because otherwise it's so stupid. Because it's like, man, you do any background, it's like, nah, he's fucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to support the Australian soldiers, because there's 3 other Australian soldiers who got Victoria Crosses in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
None of the rest of them have like any controversy about them. They seem like they were kind of standard.
Yeah.
And then there's Ben. But the legal case, the legal offense.
Yes.
Prior to this most recent arrest, Ben was actually the plaintiff. That is the guy who's doing the suing in the defamation lawsuit against the journalists who published the stories.
I can't believe you said that shit about me. That's so untrue.
He's like, Mom, what should I do? And she's like, you should sue him for defamation.
Yeah, her favorite game.
He's like, wait, were they married? He's like, no. He's all right, cool. That's fine.
Perfect, let's go.
But this is a guy who just keeps winning, right? So when the journalists we've spoken about start publishing stories about his misdeeds, he's like, hey, I'm the head of 7 media. I'm Victoria Cross winner. I'm Father of the Year. I'm on the Australia Day Council. I'm going to win. And I assume he imagined he'd walk over them like he had everyone else in his life. And he threatens a bunch of the witnesses. He gets a guy to send like threatening emails to people. He hires like high-profile lawyers. He's a general piece of shit during the case, right?
Yeah.
But a bunch of ex-soldiers and such who knew Ben came out as witnesses to the defense to testify that they'd either seen, heard, or heard of Ben committing war crimes.
Well, yeah, and I imagine a lot of those guys are probably pissed off as well, seeing how well things have gone for Ben.
Yeah.
And also being like, this guy's a massive piece of shit.
Well, his main defense is that everyone's jealous of his Victoria Cross.
Everybody's jealous, and they're all like, fuck.
So, a smattering of other dead shits, as we've spoken about, showed up as witnesses for Ben's side. And Kerry Stokes pays for all their legal fees and stuff as well, right? And their travel fees. So here's my favourite thing that's ever been said in an Australian court by one of those esteemed soldiers paid for by the Seven Network. So, the defense lawyer says, "Are you an active follower of several Instagram pages that post commentary on this trial?" And the soldier's like, "I do follow those pages." And then the defense lawyer says, "Do you remember one of the posts that you liked yesterday morning before court that started off with this?" And it's the video I've sent you.
When some fuckwit in a suit starts questioning your integrity and using his fucktard snake logic he learnt getting his tonsils bruised by some lecturer's spotty dick at their non-binary law school, remember one thing, that this cunt will be one of the first to be held down and drowned in a muddy puddle for his fancy jacket when society crumbles.
Did you know that was from this trial?
Because I had heard that. I had heard that clip before.
Yeah.
I have a long-standing passion for hearing like internet shit read out in courtrooms.
It's amazing.
Because it's so funny.
It's funny.
So funny. I did not know that was from this trial. All I remember is I love the end where it's just like, will be the first to be drowned in a muddy puddle for his fancy jacket. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I didn't know it was from this trial.
It's one of the people we've already spoken about, who's known as Tim Douglas.
Yeah.
He's the guy who dresses as a Klansman.
Fuck me. God damn it.
Like, he's got the worst mates in the world. And that guy obviously isn't well received as a witness, right?
No.
A few days later, one of Ben's other witnesses and his lawyer doesn't show up to the trial in the morning. And everyone's like, where's that guy and his lawyer? Like, he's a lawyer to another guy, right?
Yeah.
Well,
witness for Ben Robert Smith hit with criminal charges after finishing his evidence.
he got arrested
Damn.
the night after because he got fucking wasted. And the ADF have been doing their investigation, and they're like, "We need your phone because you're accused of war crimes."
Yeah.
And he tries to fucking fight him, and he gets arrested.
That's so fucking funny. God damn it.
So Ben loses the defamation suit.
Yeah.
The judge rules that on the balance of probabilities, which is a different standard to beyond reasonable doubt, but on the balance of probabilities, he had committed 4 of the 6 murders he is accused of. And so they're like, well, what about the other 2 murders and the domestic violence? Like, is that defamation? And the judge is like, listen, your reputation is so deep in the gutter that
this will not make it worse.
Exactly. It's like, it doesn't matter at that point. You can't be disgraced any further. So, like, Ben, one of the worst ever Australians. When I started writing this episode, I was kind of expecting to find an idealist. An idealist with really terrible ideals, but like a guy who believed so much in Australia and its defense that he had, to fight this deep-seated evil that the Taliban and Muslims represent. I expected a guy who was passionately abhorrent, racist, colonialist, and imperialist, which leads to all these medals and shit like that. And what I found was a psychopath and a sadist.
Yeah.
A man primarily motivated by, like, the desire to inflict violence, and a cheater and an abuser and a narcissist and a massive loser. I'll be very surprised if he sees significant jail time, and I won't be surprised to learn that he wasn't even the worst of the people we sent there.
For sure.
But I'm, I guess, relieved to know that he is unequivocally just a massive piece of shit in every context.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve the problem of having this army for no reason. And it's bad enough that, okay, here's a quote, here's some commentary about the case.
Okay.
From someone you won't expect.
Okay. Are you fine if our soldiers shoot prisoners in the back? Machine gun a one-legged man who'd surrendered? Murder a handcuffed man already injured after being thrown off a cliff?
That's Andrew Bolt.
Wow.
Like
that's
this,
crazy.
There's just a...
You really have to be a certain type of heinous to get, like, some of these people to take issue with it.
Getting Andrew Bolt to turn, Andrew Hasty to turn. It's
But they're just like, oh, you know what, actually? Now it's not on.
Well,
now it's not on. It was on before, but now it's not on.
It's just like there's kind of like, there's a limit that people who believe in something, even if they believe in heinous things, like Andrew Bolt, like Andrew Hastie, but have a system of beliefs where they're like, well, there are things I shan't accept.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry, you machine gunned a guy with one leg and kicked an old farmer off a cliff? I don't care about their religion at that point.
Yeah.
And I hate Muslims.
You know?
Like, it's just, that's Andrew Bolt. Don't clip that, everyone. It's Andrew Bolt who hates Muslims.
Yanni hates Muslims confirmed.
No.
And I hate Muslims.
But, like, what's going on with, like, why are people like Gina Reinhart, Tony Abbott, John Howard, Pauline Hanson, like, hitching their wagon to this guy?
Well, I feel the only thing that could make it make sense for me is just being ignorant and knowing that you have to appeal to a zeitgeist of some variety. And I guess it all just comes back for me, I think, to how Australia and a lot of our, up and coming political figures relate to how America has been doing things and how the UK has been doing things, and that same like push to the right, which you can very much simplify by being like, okay, pro-cop, pro-soldier, anti-woke, transgender bad.
Culture war stuff.
Yeah, culture war stuff. And I think people here, obviously, people here are way dumber and way less in tune with, like, publicity stuff than they are in other places with actual history and more people.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right?
We have a real history.
So when shit like this happens and they go like, oh, well, the story is this on paper. Soldier accused of bad thing. Soldier always good.
Mm-hmm.
Support soldier. And that's it. There's no further looking. I mean, you just have to look at like all this shit that's been happening recently with like the Libs and Labour and One Nation all like putting forward candidates who have done like crimes, like full crimes.
God, full crimes.
Full fucking crimes.
Full fucking
like,
crimes.
And then having to be like, oh shit, we didn't check. You didn't check?
You didn't check?
You didn't check?
He's like a
This man is wanted internationally and you didn't check?
AOA Baxter.
Yeah.
Rape in England.
The
guy who's like a food security pedophile defender.
Right? Like it's
Everyone in Clive Palmer's party.
You all have to like, I get frustrated sometimes that we have to take people seriously here when they don't even take themselves seriously and yet demand respect.
Yes.
How dare you? For starters, how dare you? I'm not going to respect a fucking turd on the side of the road. I'm not going to respect someone who doesn't, hey, I respect that. I'm not going to I don't want to have to take you seriously when you don't even take the role that you're in seriously. But we all have to play pretend that this is an actual, real, big boy society that exists. And we have to pretend that because we're doing it now, even though nobody knows what they're fucking doing.
No.
The blind is leading the blind, and we're all somehow okay. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, it's disgusting, but I would normally put people like Andrew Hastie and Andrew Bolt in that category.
Yeah.
But this one specifically seems
in this instance, they're just like,
so
hey, actually.
dumb.
Yeah.
Like, that people who, I guess, have basic literacy are looking at... Because Andrew Hastie was a Special Forces soldier.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess then it comes down to, if it's not about, like, pure ignorance and just, like, face value culture war shit, then it's got to be about, like, where's the money coming from? Because if it's not about culture, it's about capital. And so it's like, okay, who's getting paid where? Who's doing this as a favor to who? And then there it is, If it's not, it's you're either a dead shit or you're corrupt, and there's no in between.
No.
It's just you're either the stupidest person to exist or you're somebody's bitch. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I get, like, I don't know. I
Like, that's the only way this makes sense.
Because, even, it's frustrating to be dealing with, like, Samantha Kropowitz, the journal, Nick McKenzie, where it's like, most of our boys are doing brave things that we could never manage. Like, what if...
Sure, but why are they there?
Why can't we say that? Why can't anyone with any seriousness, like, shout out David Shoebridge and the Greens, but why can't anyone with any seriousness be like, why have we ever sent men overseas?
Yeah.
We shouldn't have done that. And someone who signs up to that is either criminally naive or a criminal.
Yeah. Or we have created a society wherein signing somebody up to sell their body like that, because that's another angle on this as well, is this is the prostitution of young men.
Yeah.
You know, this is taking a body, taking a mind, breaking it down, beating it into whatever shape you need it to be, and then discarding it when it's all used up.
Yeah.
Like, if you are going into that kind of thing because you don't have another option, that's also something.
Yeah.
You know? And that speaks to a broken society.
Yes.
That creates more broken people who will keep this shit going and fucking us up over and over and over again.
Over and over and over.
Right? Like, you know, it's complicated and it's not good, and it never is.
Never. Shout out the veteran who sent a letter to Bob Catter with all of his medals being like, Bob, this is how our veteran's going to be treated. I don't want to keep these medals.
Fuck. Bob's like, no. Now listen here.
No, Bob's like, this is so sad. One of my
Like,
constituents.
this is devastating. I'm going to put these right up on the wall.
And just as like a weird side note, there's this idea, because there was some testimony from Afghans, but not much. And there's this idea that an Afghan who works with a Western journalist is going to be attacked by the Taliban. And that doesn't make sense to me in this context, because I just feel like it's in the Taliban's interest for Australian soldiers to be arrested for war crimes.
Yeah, to be like, hey, y'all were doing awful shit in here, and so like, yeah, because that's a in terms of publicity, I suppose that's a boon. That's being like, hey, now we've got like hard proof that's been admitted by the aggressors that they did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it just goes to show, and that line is usually from, you know, people who are hoping to see Ben Roberts-Smith go to prison or whatever. And I think it just goes to show that the lack of seriousness we're talking about. Like, not to stump for the Taliban, but Afghanistan is a real place with a real history, unlike Australia. And they are existing in the actual material world.
Yeah.
Like, they are brutal and violent and misogynist. They also are trying to be a government in a real place.
Yeah.
And
like,
they're not, like, lunatics.
this isn't the prison island experiment, which is what Australia just is. Like, this is, we'll throw a bunch of people over here to keep them out of the way. Oh shit, well, we can't bring them back now.
Fuck, they're
Oh
back.
fuck, well, I guess they'll have to do their own thing. Just do what we've done over here, but do it over there. And, you know, just do it okay over there. And don't get too fucking drunk and don't kill too many people.
And here we are. And that's where I think we'll end for the day.
I did also, I wanted to ask
Yes,
a bit
please.
more if you had any more information
I
about
hopefully do.
Emma Roberts-Smith, about like, so she played a role in the trial, as it were, like,
So
basically just collating evidence and then providing it.
collating evidence, giving it to relevant people, and also like testimony about his behavior at home and things that she saw him do, the destruction of his
The laptop and
laptop,
shit.
the USBs and stuff. She's left him, obviously.
Good.
You know, she was obviously scared of him, and I think fairly assumed that he would be able to make good on his threat, like, you'll never see your kids again if you don't support me. But yeah, she's out of the situation, and like, it's an interesting one, because when they meet, like, she's like 4 years older than him. He's 19. She's 23. But everyone's like, yeah, he love bombed her and then became very cold and was just in Afghanistan the whole time and kept cheating on her, and belittling her and calling her fat and stuff. But and like, she like gives up her career for his career and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she's a G. Like, she, you know, talks to the right people, does crazy OPSEC. The lady that Ben cheats on her with shows up at her house with her parents to be like, hey, I need you to know that your husband's cheating on you with me. And also, I have this black eye. That was him.
Also, he beats me a bunch. You?
Yeah. Which, yeah, so...
Which, honestly, I think there's if there's anything to take away from some of these situations, it is that I think there does need to be, you know, I appreciate the fact that there was solidarity between, like, those two being able to reach out and be like, hey, so he's a massive shithead. I think just being able to nip, or just at least It's all about community, isn't it? It's all about community. It's
Yeah,
all
it
about
is.
being able to connect with people and to share what's going on for people to be able to police each other in a community, I suppose. Because, like we were saying, these guys wouldn't be doing this shit if they weren't being, like, cut from their community and deposited somewhere completely different.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't be doing this shit at home because there would be actual consequences at home.
There would be actual
You know,
consequences.
and so I think it is important for consequences to be something that is real.
Yes.
And that nobody should be immune from those consequences, regardless of anything.
Exactly.
I think.
And like it's a the Crossing the Line book by Nick Mackenzie. If you're interested in it is that Australian book thing that I'm noticing where it does feel like every chapter is written in isolation because there's a bunch of turns of phrase that are used exactly the same way multiple times.
Damn.
It's a very annoying thing about Australian books, but to be fair, you're writing it for the mostly illiterate Australian audience.
I guess so. So you're like,
So you
I have to make this
keep,
so
you have
clear.
to keep
We
repeating
can't,
yourself.
You know.
But it like the lengths that they went to, the people they spoke to, the people that became friends or part of a community with each other during this process. There's like a lady who's Emma's friend that Ben gets to buy burner phones for him. And she's like, while Emma's with Ben, I'm going to help him, but I'm going to keep track of this stuff.
Yeah.
She's the lady that Emma gives the USBs to and she puts it on a hard drive and then's like, bury these again.
Yeah.
And when he comes to get him, take a picture to show that he's like,
Taken them.
dogging
That
them
they
up.
were there. They're not
Yeah.
there anymore, but we've taken a copy of all of the files.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens at this point, we have the evidence that he may have tried to destroy.
Yeah. Because, like, he gets...
Also, like, and I know it's because he was, like, feeling 10 feet fucking tall and, like, untouchable and shit that he, like, kept, like, evidence like that buried in his backyard. But that's insane.
It's so stupid.
You have to be so arrogant.
Yeah.
And so egotistical to think that you can still get away with, like, a bunch of awful shit and you kept evidence of it. Like, you kept actual evidence of it.
Yeah.
You kept the evidence.
And the only
Are you
person...
so fucking dumb?
And the only person who could know about it is somebody that he belittles and cheats on and is unfaithful to.
Yes, somebody that you know has, like, motive and probably desire to see you done in for this.
Yeah.
But what? Because you're Big Tough Ben, you think you can get away with
She
it.
would
But I guess
never do that.
that's his whole life, right?
Yeah.
He's Big Tough Ben, so he can get away with everything
Len
until a
raised
certain
him...
point.
Len and Sue raised him to be Big Tough Ben.
Big Tough Len raised him to be Big Tough
Len. The
Len.
height, I think, comes from his mom's side, because her dad, who was the cop, is known for being extremely big.
Oh, cool, yeah.
That's how he
Again,
becomes the sheriff.
another, you know what? And probably he got a lot of really nice stories from Granddaddy Kiap about all the brown people he killed.
Exactly.
And Ben's just like, I want to do that when I grow up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Len, I think, was like in the reserve, but I don't know if he saw combat or whatever. But yeah, I guess I'm glad to be able to roll my eyes with more force at the received wisdom of like, because there's all these stories where it's like this cuts deep to the national psyche, and I'm like, it really?
Who's?
But I guess like all the people that go to dawn services, I guess
Yeah.
those motherfuckers. But like, yeah, like I can't like all of these stories have like, hey, if you're an ADF member and this has disturbed you, you can call like Lifeline for ADF people,
Yeah.
or whatever. That it confuses me because that's like a parallel Australia that we don't live in.
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, I don't think Ben Robert Smith is going to see jail time because Gina Reinhart will just keep funding legal challenges, I have to imagine.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm glad we don't have to hear about him as a war hero anymore. And hopefully we can jump off this to go like, well, is there a war hero? Is that a real thing if you're not at home? I think you can be a war hero if you're fighting off an invasion.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be a war hero if you're an invader.
Yeah. And I think that comes into, again, why it's like called a defense force.
Yeah.
Like,
Come on now. And you should come on down to our Patreon, patreon.com/shouldntacome, if you want to support us. We recently got another new patron. Thank you very much for signing up. You know who you are. Really love having you on. If you'd like to see the slides for our episodes and stuff, youtube.com/@shouldntacome has those available. And if you'd like to get in contact with us, shouldntacome@gmail.com is our contact information. We will be doing something more fun and like a very unserious next week.
Yeah.
So which we're looking for. looking forward to. We're not coming to Canberra.
Yeah, apologies everybody. Archie
apologies.
is still
Archie's
leaking,
injured.
I suppose.
We're
yeah.
sick. It's not going well. We're going fine, but not well.
Yeah.
And also, I'm scared that Ben Roberts-Smith will run in front of our car and we'll hit it and it'll crumple against his frame.
Yeah, some real what's that fucking Will Smith movie?
Hancock.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he's fucking huge.
Yeah, like that photo was like the photos you've shown me of him are
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
silly.
sillily large man.
Exactly. Like, and that's not part of it. And it's just like, I just wish he was better, because he played rugby and basketball in school. It's like, I just wish he was better at one of them, because he wouldn't have done any of this shit.
You know, you have to assume.
You have to assume. Like, he could have been the Dylan Brooks of Australian basketball.
Wow. Hate that. There's only one Dylan Brooks.
There's only one Dylan Brooks. Shout out Dylan Brooks. I think my dream guest is Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks would be really funny. I would love to have Dylan Brooks on the pod, and he's just there silently. Like,
Yeah,
it's
he's just
like his
staring.
presence is there, but we just have to kind of keep going normally as he does his intense, like, stare down.
We occasionally, like, refer to him. He doesn't respond.
He doesn't even move, and we're just
Yeah.
like, damn, that's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, if you want to hear about a war hero, look up Dylan Brooks,
Yeah.
the NBA player.
War hero, more like War Hero. Wikipedia.
Yeah. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.